Hey everybody, it's Cooper here, and welcome to a new video. And today I wanted to have a discussion, as you can see from the title, do you guys get excited about new games the same way you did as a kid? And of course I'd like to hear your answers to this question, so please leave a comment down below. But for me, I really don't. And I'm sure there's multiple reasons for this, but just a couple that I can think of is, when I was a kid, I don't want to say that I necessarily got excited for new games that were coming out, but I got really excited when we would go to the game store and when we bought a game. And there's a few instances I can remember where we would go to our local store, which was called Game Crazy, and I remember one time we purchased a Nintendo 64 game called Mace: The Dark Age, which is a kind of like a Mortal Kombat style fighting game, and it's really gory and everything. But I remember buying that with, I was with my family, and then we had to go somewhere else, and my mom went into the store, and I was sitting in the car with my dad, waiting, and my sister was probably there as well. But we were waiting for her to come out of the store, and then we were gonna maybe go get some food or something, and then come home. And I just remember sitting in the car with the box, and this is, back when Nintendo 64 was, the newest system, so it's not like it was hard to find things with the box. And I just remember looking at the back, and I was looking at the pictures and reading the descriptions, and I was going through the manual, and it was almost like I was physically bouncing up and down in the seat because I was so excited to get home and play it. And it wasn't, it's not a bad game, but it's not what you'd think of if you were to think of like top tier games. It's not a Mario or a Zelda game. It's not the kind of game that you would expect someone to get really excited about. But it didn't really matter what the game was. For me, just being a kid, it was just the most exciting thing ever to have a new game to play. And anytime we go to Blockbuster and rent video games, it was the same thing. Like, the entire car ride home, I would just be sitting there looking at the box, just being so excited to get home and play it. And it's just really, it's not like that for me anymore. And of course there are new games that come out that I am excited about, but nothing to the point where, I'll get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and drive to GameStop the minute they open so I can get the game, rush home and play it. A lot of the games that I pre-order that are coming out, even the ones that I am really interested in playing, I don't even think to go get them until I see something online about it coming out. Like, I'll forget when the release date is on them even, and of course there are some exceptions to that. When Pikmin 3 came out, I got that, the first day. I didn't wake up early and go get it right when they opened or anything, but that was a game I was really excited to play, and I played through it and I beat it in 2 or 3 sittings, and I loved it, but it didn't give me that same feeling that I remember having as a kid, when I'm at the store picking it up, or when I go in to pre-order it, where I'm waiting for it to come out or anything like that. And the excitement was just much more real as a kid than it is now, which is kind of disappointing, that I can't get that same excitement out of the anticipation of a video game. And I'm sure that there's some people out there who are adults who can still feel like that, and that's awesome, and I wish that I could. But it just doesn't do it for me, and I'm not sure why. I think it's just, getting older and having responsibilities and having other things that you have to do that are more important than gaming, or are more on your mind than that new game. But there are other things that get me excited in the same way, and I can kind of recall the feeling, particularly of that time waiting in the car with Mace: The Dark Age. That's like a very vivid memory that I have. But when I get ready to take a trip somewhere, like if I'm about ready to get on a plane and go to Florida, or if my girlfriend and I are getting up early in the morning to go on a sourcing trip to Seattle or something like that, I almost get that same feeling in my stomach. The excited feeling, the butterflies, the you know, those kind of feelings, and it's awesome. And what's cool about getting those feelings for trips like that is that whenever we make those kind of trips, I'm always like, one of the reasons to make the trip is to find video games. And you know, I call it a sourcing trip because we drive around to go to thrift stores to find stuff to sell as you know, part of my job. But an aspect of it is always to look for games, and it's never planned, you know, that we're gonna go look for video games. It just happens to be part of it since we're going to thrift stores anyway. So yeah, it's just something that I thought was kind of interesting to talk about, and I wanted to hear your guys' stories about it and hear your answer to the question. So, do you still get excited about new games like you did as a kid? So please comment down below with your answer and any kind of stories you have. I'd love to hear. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.